What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel today. Hopefully you guys are doing well, and hopefully you guys did pretty well in the past Gone Weekend League. Premier League Team of the Season Weekend League, one of the most sweaty weekend leagues, and of course if you can secure yourself one of those elite rewards, you're getting probably a minimum of about 400k and maximum up to like 2 to 3 million coins. So definitely worth the play out. And luckily for us on the Kyren Road to Glory, we did not only get Elite 3, we actually got ourselves Elite 1, 27 and 3, so we'll have Elite 1 rewards for you guys coming up on the channel later this week. Should be very enjoyable, and hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. A big coin injection into the club as well, which is really nice, so we can start making some upgrades. But of course, this was the team that we're playing with, and the one player that you might not be able to see is Atal. He's right here. But yeah, we will stream all of our games over on Twitch. If you guys want to check that out, the link is down in the description below. But the main question I got asked over the past week for the Weekend League gameplay is, yo Kyren, what's the custom tactics that you're running for this Weekend League? Now, normally I'm able to direct people in one specific direction, and that is to the video that we released back in October or November. I'll put a link to it in the card up here, as well as also a link to it down in the description below for that custom tactics video, and that explains the 4-4-2 and the 3-5-2. And both of those custom tactics sets, I actually personally haven't changed. They're exactly the same as they were before. I think the only thing I may have changed is I put the strikers and stay central, because I really want Mbappe on the central of the pitch. But for the most part, they're exactly the same custom tactics. They work really well. And they're really effective. Now, the only problem that the only formations that they're not really effective against is the 4-3-1-2 and the 4-1-2-1-2. And the reason for that is because those formations condense so many people in the center of the pitch. You just get outnumbered centrally, so it's not really worth to have those players wide or stuff like that. So the main reason why I have now introduced a 4-1-2-1-2 or 4-3-1-2 into my own gameplay is to counter that. You kind of basically have to match that formation. You can go to a 4-1-2-1-2 or 4-3-1-2, either one. But in my personal opinion, when you come against that sort of formation, you kind of have to match it. Just because it is really hard to play outnumbered in the center of the park. So that's kind of the reason why. So anyway, let's get straight into the custom tactics. Let's run you guys through it, and hopefully you guys can find it informational and find it helpful. Now, of course, these are the 4-4-2 and the 3-5-2. Those are my main two custom tactics. This is for regular play, so if I'm just in the middle regular of the game, that's completely fine. If I'm playing against a 3-back or a 5-back, this is the formation I go to. And then if I play against a narrow formation, a 4-1-2-1-2 or 4-3-1-2, this is the formation I go to. Now, for the main tactics overall, I go press on heavy touch, just because I think a press is a bit better, and because you have so many people condensed, there's not really a negative to it, unless if they're a big possession player. But usually if they're a 4-1-2-1-2 or 4-3-1-2, they're a pretty fast-paced tiki-taka player. They're not really a possession player, so you wouldn't really play this with another thing. So that's kind of the reason why I personally go press on heavy touch. The width is at 5, just keep it relatively normal with the width, and the depth is at 7, and the reason for that is because I want to be up in your face. I want to be winning the ball high up the park, and then pressing and going ahead and attack. Now, of course, if you're one of those players that can't really manually defend that well, you can drop the depth, definitely. I know a lot of people play the whole 4-1-2-1-2 as a heavy counter-attack formation. They may go press on possession loss, so they press for like the last 7 seconds, and then they just drop the whole formation backwards. That's another way you could do it. I personally don't like to do that. I think it's a bit not proactive, and for me personally, I like to win the ball high up the park, go and score more goals. That's the way I like to play. Now on offense, I don't really pay too much attention to these. 5 width seems fine to me. Players in the box, I like to get a lot of players forward, and with this formation especially, when you play with the main benefit of this formation is the center mids, especially the wide ones, the way I've set it up, those boys get high up the pitch, so we usually end up having 5 or 6 players inside the box on attack, as well as also the numbers back. So that's kind of the main reason for that. And then the corners and the free kicks, I know a lot of people say go on 2. You can do 2, you can do 3. I wouldn't go higher than 3, but yeah, it's just about security. If you want to go ahead and do that, that's fine by me. But for me personally, I just like to get as many number of people forward because they seem to recover quick enough, at least in my opinion. That's the way I personally play it. So that's the main tactics on the screen in front of you, as you guys can see. Nothing too crazy. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I think the main one is fast build-up and press on heavy touch, and the 7 depth, just because you want to win the ball high up the pitch, and then you want everyone to go forward so you have a lot of options. Because usually the main problem that I've normally had in a narrow formation is you don't have the wingers, you don't have numbers forward, you just have that triangle. With the fast build-up, those wide center mids become wingers, and that's kind of the way that I really like to play it. Now, right here, of course, this is how I've set it up. Now, the main thing I would say is for this main formation, you want to have your anchor as a central center mid. That's kind of like the big boy, your Vieiras. I don't think Hullet's ideal for it, but I play a 4-4-2 normally. I don't really have an anchor on my team. Someone like a Makalele, someone like a Kante, that's absolutely perfect there. Someone to like anchor the team and make sure that you guys are going to be solid when you're getting hit on the counter. You'll be able to defend with him and they'll do perfectly fine. Now, the other thing as well that I would like to say a lot that's really important is Atal. You kind of want an Atal-esque sort of player, a player that can play both as an attacker as well as also a center mid. Now, the reason why Atal's so good for this is because he's got 80 defense, so there's a lot of really good defensive stats that he has, so he can play as a center mid. I think another card that's kind of like this is Buendia. Someone like an Alwa would be decent. I think as well, just off the top of my head, maybe Team of the Season Mason Mounts, that could work really well as both a wide mid as well as also a central, as a wide center mid in a 4-3-1-2. So that formation is important to know. But I think the most important thing, you can really have any 3 attackers. It depends how you want to play it. The main one would be the anchor. I think you need the anchor in your team, and then ideally really fast wing backs, because they're going to be going up and down the pitch a lot. So that's kind of the deal. Now, over to the instructions. We have the false 9 on one striker and again behind on the other. As you guys know, this is my staple. If you guys don't know the reason for that, I've explained it in previous videos. You want to stagger the strikers. So one of them shows, the other one goes in behind. You have options at that point. For this one, I have stay forward on the central cam. And I think for the positioning freedom, I put them on free roam. You can kind of have them stick on position. Depends what you want them to do. I like it on free roam just because it kind of means that he just kind of like goes wherever, and someone like Neymar is always going to be good with it and that sort of thing. But I think the main thing for this is definitely the stay forward. I've played this without stay forward, and what I've noticed is a lot of the times either the left center mid or the right center mid usually swap with the cam, and that's really not ideal because you want those boys to be the defensive boys, you want Neymar to be an attacking boy. That's kind of the way I personally feel about it. I don't like my central cam, my cam basically drifting out wide, so that's the reason why I like to do it, and I don't want him being as like a CDM or a center mid. So I personally like stay forward. You can play around with it, see how you go, but for me, I'll stay forwards on my central cam. Now this is where the mid is the really important part, and there's 2 ways you can set up this formation. I personally think so. First of all, you can either have your wingbacks on join the attack and overlap, and if you're down by a goal, that's something that you definitely want to, and you need to win the game, that's something that you definitely want to get forward. You want to get these wingbacks up, so all you got to do is just switch this to join the attack, and they'll be able to get up the pitch. They'll provide you the support, and I think usually the way the AI usually works in this game, it's really quick to recover, so you will be a bit exposed if you get hit on a counter, but if you're down by a goal, you kind of have to have those numbers forward. But there's 2 ways you can play this formation. The first one is via using the join the attack on the wingbacks, and then you have like stay back while attacking on these boys. So you have your wingers as your wingbacks as your wingers going forward. Now the other way the way that I personally like to do it is I basically just go balanced attack on both of my wide center mids, all 3 of them on cover center. And what this does with the fast build up is this pushes Renato Sanchez and Atal wider than Royce and Mbappe. It basically makes it like a 5 attack at that point. These boys go up and they go wide, so they get really high up the pitch, and they get actually into a lot of scoring opportunities. I've actually scored quite a few goals with Renato Sanchez's left foot and Atal's right foot, just with the overlapping run. And I think it works really well for me personally. I tried cover wide. They feel very yeah, basically wide. They feel very wide positionally on the pitch. So I personally just like cover center. I've always played with cover center on my CDMs. I don't know why it's not the default, but it should really be the default. They just position themselves a lot better. So I would personally go cover center over cover wide. But I think the main thing is you can either go balance attack on your wing backs or balance attack on your wide mids, and whichever one you want to do, that's the way you should go about it. But I personally like to have my wing backs in position, so if I need to send them on runs, I can send them on runs. But for me personally, it's all about having those balance attack on the wide center mid so they can get forward and then they can come back in time. And that's why I see the whole custom tactics. There's nothing really too much else about it. Very, very simplistic, but it works really well just to counter the narrow formations, because those are so annoying to play up against. You guys, I don't know if you guys have felt it, but whenever someone is on a 4-1-2-1-2 or a 4-3-1-2, they just seem to have the numbers like defensively, and then they have so many players going forward. And the reason for this is because they usually have the wingbacks joining the attack, or the center mids, the wide center mids going forward quite a lot. And in a 4-1-2-1-2, you can see this usually a lot, because they'll have the CDM on a stay back, and then they'll have those wingers going up the pitch. So you basically have a 3 back, and then they have pretty much 7 attackers going forward. So yeah, I find this really helpful to kind of counter it. Just clog the middle of the pitch, make it an even playing field number-wise, and then through playability, if you're the better player, you should be able to win the game from that point onwards. So hopefully, you guys found that custom tactics video helpful. I don't know if it's gonna be too helpful. I'm really kind of like getting new into this custom tactic formation. I haven't really had an hour formation in my arsenal. It's just been over the past week or so where I've had the 4-3-1-2. So I might update it later on, but for the meantime, this is how I'm playing it. It's working really well. I definitely think without this like custom tactics set, I probably would have lost a couple games because I just really struggle a lot in a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2 against a 4-1-2-1-2 or 4-3-1-2. So that's kind of the deal. But if you found this video enjoyable and helpful, don't forget to smash a big old thumbs up, drop a subscribe as well, and leave me a comment. Let me know how'd you guys go in the Premier League team in the season weekend league. Hopefully you guys were able to get whatever weekend league result you're able to go. And look, from here on outwards, we should get TOTS level rewards, so it should be pretty good. And hopefully you guys can get some good stuff. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys found it informational, and we'll see you guys in another video. Take care, have a good one, and peace.
Broken, don't ever forget you're golden. I will find the light in your soul.